All right, so I want to take a minute, share with you guys why I appreciate and enjoy being a part of the Goldback fan club and community and center in general. So, for those who don't know, there's a large following of the Goldback program, and so I've been following quite closely for several years now, because when I got into this whole journey of rethinking the dollar, I was always looking for ways to protect, preserve everything I worked hard for in a variety of form and fashions, not just going out and buying bullion directly or coins and rounds directly, but wanted to be able to diversify. And so, thank God, due to technology, there's all types of ways to protect and preserve, beyond the digital side of things. Of course, you can go get you some coins, cryptos, whatever. Those are all, there's places for all those things in a person's portfolio, in my opinion. But when I came across the Go Back program, in particular, and also had a chance to go to Utah to their facilities and just see how the process is, it was like, wow, like this is something that I hope catches on. And so as I follow their progress, I noticed that there's more vendors deciding to accept the go backs directly for trade in the form of a legal tender type of thing there. And so as I continue to, dollar cost average in for myself, I always like to give an update for those who also are part of the community or those who may not have never even heard of gold backs. And so I also call them gold notes because that's more so what I consider them to be, just because for those who know monetary history, the journey of gold and silver specie that was actually in people's hands all the way through the different iterations from it being redeemable to non-redeemable and everything in between. And so literally, having a chance to hold something in the form of a polymer gold note is something to me that I find way more important and more valuable in the long run than these, just because they hold their value. And so these hold their value, I mean. And so I just did a little quick little video that I want to, share with you guys, showing you. And of course, I have more to add to my collection, because I also consider myself a collector as well as someone who dollar cost average in for the sake of being able to save them, because I realize the importance of them in reference to just diversifying a stack for the most part. So I'm going to share the video, whatever, just walk you through the 5 iterations. But it just dawned on me that I still have more to do. And what I'm referring to is the fact that here, if you go over to their main page here, I have five. I have all 5 of their different states, but they just added a 6th, which is the Florida. And so here on the screen, as I zoom in here, you can see that the Florida Goldback is now available. So since they've added Florida to their list of states that they're trying to do business within, trying to spread the, I guess, good news of the importance of gold, and especially given that Florida just made gold and silver legal tender again, I would imagine the Goldbacks are going to pick up, especially in Florida, because of DeSantis and everything he's doing. So as I was just looking over the price activity and things like that, I noticed that right now, one Goldback is as low as $6.62. And so that to me is up somewhat significantly since the time I first started, purchasing and redeeming fiat to get into the Goldbacks. And so it's good to say it's just reflecting the current gold price. And of course, the premiums on top of these instruments are a little bit higher than your normal products. But keep in mind, anything that's given to you directly from a distributor, a dealer, a coin shop, or anything like that, they're literally in business to sell products. And this happens to be a product. And so for them, they have to be profitable. So that comes to premium. So for these things here are one of a kind. And there's nothing else like it of this size and stature to where the premium is, to me, is justifiable for what you're actually getting with these units. So here you can see the Wyoming and New Hampshire, South Dakota. And, when you have them in your hand, that's just a whole nother ball game. And so I'm going to share with you in a moment just a video I put together showing the 5 that I have. And I'm hoping to be able to add more as they begin to spread and introduce new states and the new lineups of 1, 5, or halves, 1s, 5, 10, 25s, and things like that. So I just want to take a minute to share my 2 cents on just, the collectible side of the gold notes. They're not just for the sake of looking pretty, but they're also to protect and preserve. So once again, I always encourage the community to come up with a strategy, come up with a plan of things that excite you as well as interest you. And whatever that is, go full steam ahead, because we're in an environment now where we know for sure more of these are coming because of the debt load. So once again, just taking a minute, share my 2 cents. If you're part of the community, if you're part of the gold back community, keep doing what you're doing. Once again, just want to be of encouragement, because some people get, swayed left and right depending on market activity. Just do what you do. We all know ultimately where these things are going. And so check this video out real quick. And other than that, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Here's a view of all 5 of the 1-unit Goldback notes that I want to take a minute to talk about, just because as a collector of fine art as well as unique preservations of wealth, I think these things here all tell a story worth mentioning and highlighting. So I'll start with the Goldback. Here, the Nevada version. It says negotiable instrument, 1 note. The artwork on this thing here is so finely crafted and so unique. It is such a beautiful thing to look at. 1/1000, exchangeable by Goldback Incorporated in U.S. gold coin to bearer on demand. Exchangeable to bearer on demand. Words that we no longer have the privilege of seeing on the Federal Reserve note. Next, we have the South Dakota negotiable instrument. Just a quick glance at the fineness of this 2024 Goldback piece of beauty here. You got the wolf sitting next to the, what looks like a Native American woman with some rings in her hands with a flower. Alliance of friends. Seek peace. Once again, exchangeable to the bearer on demand. 3rd unit, Wyoming. Negotiable. Mountain. Buffalo, eagle, Native American. Flowers. All the unique craftings of this instrument here. It's definitely something worth paying attention to. The last one. Oh, I'm sorry. New Hampshire, same thing. Writing chains. Specie legal tender instrument. There you can see more handcrafted. Gratia. Pumpkin. Give thanks. Exchangeable to the bearer on demand. Utah. Negotiable instrument. Native American, 2024. Exchangeable to the bearer on demand. These are words that we no longer have the privilege of even mentioning or referencing with our currency, because the Federal Reserve note is a debt instrument, a contract between the United States government and a privately held bank. No surprise that these instruments will hold their value, as they always have, and they always will. Unlike this instrument right here. This note is legal tender for all debts, public and private. Federal Reserve note. If George Washington was alive today, he may not even be surprised. Anyway, big difference.